Welcome to Revelation Unraveled. I'm your host, William Tapley, also known as the Third Eagle of the Apocalypse and the co-prophet of these end times. Now in this program, I want to talk about Dana Coverstone's most recent dream, which is short but very significant. And it appears to be a prophecy of the upcoming 7-year anniversary of the Revelation 12 sign. That incredible sign of a woman clothed with the sun appeared on September 23rd, 2017. For those of you who follow this channel, you know I was the first to discover that great sign as it appeared in the constellations on September 23rd, 2017. I found it in the computer program called Stellarium, and I posted the very first YouTube video about it on April 7th, 2011. And I will put a link to that video below, which I called Stellarium. In the description box below, you can find it. Since then, thousands of videos about this amazing fulfillment of Bible prophecy have been posted here on YouTube. And I will also attach links to some of the more interesting of those videos. Of all the signs in the Bible, Scripture calls this sign in Revelation 12 the great sign. However, that by now famous fulfillment of Bible prophecy 7 years ago did not appear to be the earth-shattering development that many people, including myself, had anticipated at that time. Now, Dana's new prophetic dream indicates that our preliminary "so what" attitude may be about to change. As I go through Dana's dream, slide by slide, I will explain what I perceive to be its important relationship to that Revelation 12 prophecy. I have broken down Dana's dream into 10 different slides. So let's go through them one by one. Slide number 1. Over the last week and a half, 8 or 9 days, I had a dream where I was standing on the shore of an ocean. I don't know if it was the Atlantic or Pacific. It doesn't matter. But way, 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 way out in the ocean, I saw a billboard, like 50 feet above the water. In his very first sentence, Dana uses significant Marian numerology. Over the last week and a half indicates 1.5 weeks. And since decimals are always eliminated in sacred numerology, the resulting number of 15 equals 5 plus 5 plus 5. And 555 represents the 5 joyful, the 5 sorrowful, and the 5 glorious mysteries in the original rosary, as I have demonstrated countless times on this channel. 555 will defeat 666 in these end times. Jesus saves us from sin, but Mary saves us from Satan. Dana's next phrase, 8 or 9 days, tells us that the time expressions in Dana's dream may not be exact. In other words, the 7-year anniversary of the Great Revelation sign will occur exactly 7 weeks after Dana's dream. But since his dream extended over 8 or 9 days, it's hard to pinpoint the exact timeline. I believe this repetition of the number 7 is the first indication that Dana's dream and the great sign in Revelation are related. That phrase, Atlantic or Pacific, means that his prophetic dream applies to all of America, not just one coast or another. It could even apply to the entire world. 4 repetitions of the phrase "way out" indicate that Dana's dream is an end times prophecy. As another example, there are 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. 4 and 7 are the two most important numbers in end times apocalyptic prophecy. The word billboard is the second indication that Dana's dream relates to Revelation 12. Because what is a billboard? A billboard is a great sign. The billboard height of 50 feet above the water is the third reference to the Revelation 12 sign. Because 50 is the number of Hail Marys in a 5-decade rosary. And most Bible scholars will admit that the woman clothed with the sun represents the Blessed Virgin Mary. Incidentally, this great sign appeared in the constellation Virgo, which means virgin. I should add that the woman also represents our remnant Catholic Church. Slide number 2. In the dream, I started to walk into the water, and the water started to recede, and it kept going further and further out from me. And the further I went, the more I realized that I was actually descending. Going down, 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 down. Now that receding water line is a sure sign of an incoming tsunami. However, this tsunami must be a symbolic disaster, because Dana says the name of the ocean doesn't matter. In other words, it will affect all of America, not just the eastern or western seaboards. In fact, it may very well represent the entire world. Also, Dana seems unconcerned that this receding of the ocean signals a tsunami, because he walks right out into the ocean rather than fleeing away from the shore. Is this impending disaster somehow associated with the great sign in Revelation 12? In Revelation 12, the woman flees. Is this symbolic tsunami what the woman is fleeing from? The 5 repetitions of the word down is a second reference to Mary's rosary, because one complete rosary consists of 5 decades. Slide number 3. And I got to a place where I saw it said, that is the billboard, 2,000 feet below sea level. And the ground was dry. Even though it should have been muddy, it wasn't. I just kept walking down and down and down. And finally, when I get to the very bottom, I look up at the billboard, which seems like it's 100 feet above me. And the billboard says, economic desert, economic desert. So here in slide 3, Dana describes 2 billboards. The symbolic tsunami disaster causes an economic desert, probably indicating a recession, or more likely a depression. In Revelation 12, the woman also flees into a desert. Is that the same desert that Dana is walking into? Will the 7th anniversary of the great sign on September 23rd mark the beginning of an economic catastrophe for America? The 2 numbers in this slide number 3 both refer to Mary in Bible prophecy. 100 feet expresses 100 Hail Marys, or 2 complete rosary mysteries. And 2,000 symbolizes 10 complete rosaries. Slide number 4. And I reached down to the ground to pick up what looked like mud. And when I did, it was dry. And I picked it up in my hand. I looked at it, and I opened my hand up. And when I did, it was like dried mud in my hand. It turned into sand, and the wind just kind of blew it away. I turned around to walk back out of what I guess was this ocean bed. And I saw like a vision within the dream. It should be clear by now this is not an ocean bed, but somehow along the way it has changed into a sandy desert. So Dana's guess was incorrect, even though at the beginning of his dream he waded into an ocean. Next, Dana relates his vision within the dream, slide number 5. I saw a street, a busy street, and I saw cars just driving back and forth. I saw cars, I saw people out on bikes, running, doing this, doing that, and then it changed. It was changed just like that. And I see cars parked on the side. And I see people walking. Not a whole lot of people, just a few. I see trash thrown all over the place. 2,000 feet below sea level was what it said. It's interesting that Dana repeats the writing found on the first billboard. If Dana's dream reflects the great sign in Revelation 12, will the 7-year anniversary date of September 23rd, 24 mark a particular day when the normal hustle and bustle of American life changes suddenly overnight? Slide number 6. And so I see trash everywhere, and I see people walking, and they've got, if you remember, in the 70s and 80s, they used to have these brown paper bags for groceries. And I remember that well myself. And if you remember, those grocery bags were tough. I mean, you couldn't put like a live raccoon in it and bring it home. But you know, they were pretty tough. Now the next 3 slides, that is 7 through 9, describe a worsening food crisis. Slide number 7. And so I saw people with grocery bags. And you know, they've got 1, 2, or 3 bags. And they're walking back and forth. All the cars are parked. Cars aren't moving. And I see people with 2 or 3 bags of groceries. They're going both ways, and they're taking them up to their homes and apartments and everything else. Moving on to slide number 8. Then it seems like a day or 2 passes, and it's just in the dream, you know. Next thing I know, I see people that are walking with 1 bag, not 2 or 3, but with 1 bag. Then I see people walking and they have no bags. I see people coming up to ATMs and they're trying to get money out, and nothing's being spit out. I see a couple of places. When Dana says a day or 2, it probably symbolizes 1 or 2 weeks, or maybe even 1 or 2 months. It's interesting that this economic crisis leads primarily to a food shortage instead of, let's say, housing or clothing deprivations. But does that line up with the plight of the woman in Revelation 12? Let's read Revelation 12, verse number 6. And the woman fled into the desert, where she had a place prepared by God that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Now God's angels would not have to feed the woman unless Dana's prophecy is accurate. And food shortages are the primary result of Dana's symbolic tsunami. But neither Dana's prophecy or the book of Revelation tells us what causes the food shortages. Do they indicate nuclear war, perhaps? Or maybe they indicate another disastrous Democratic presidency that adopts the failed communist-style economic policies In any case, it tells us that we all need to protect ourselves inside safe refuges where God will feed us through his angels. Slide number 9. There's one guy that stands out in my mind who was in like a checkout line. And there was a line of people, a big line of people behind him. And they were obviously in a hurry. And the guy's at the checkout line and the scanner's not working. I remember the lights were on, but the scanner wasn't working. So maybe the food shortages are caused by the power grid going down. No matter what, we all need to store food. Slide number 10. And there was a sign that said cash only. And this guy opened his wallet. It's like a bifold. And when he opened it up, it was empty. And he looked at his wallet and began to cry. And he just walked out. And at that moment, I saw that sign again that said, economic desert, economic desert. So once again, Dana repeats the words on one of the billboards. In addition to the 2 billboards, this new sign, cash only, is the 3rd sign in Dana's dream. 3 is God's number. And it verifies there is a connection between Dana's dream and the Revelation 12 great sign prophecy. Mary's number 5 is indicated by the 2 repetitions of the first billboard, plus 2 repetitions of the second billboard, plus 1 telling of the 3rd sign. Now, none of this numerology is accidental. I could be wrong, but I don't believe Dana's dream refers to next year or the year after. 7 weeks from Dana's dream points to the 7-year anniversary of the great sign, as it originally occurred in the sun, moon, and stars on September 23rd, 2017, and as I explained in my video, Stellarium. Thus, I wouldn't be surprised if we get another manifestation of the number 7, which would provide a 3rd repetition of that apocalyptic number. For example, will the food shortages last for 7 months? Also, I want to insert at this time, besides the woman in Revelation 12 symbolizing Mary and the remnant Catholic Church, the child she brings forth represents the raptured Protestant Church. So if I am right, and Dana's prophetic dream provides many important insights into our understanding of the end times flight of the woman in Revelation 12, we will soon find out. Thus, we see Dana's billboard dream, combined with St. John's narrative in Revelation 12, could be the prophecy that finally reveals the exact chronology of the biblical great sign starting this September 23rd, 2024. And if you would like to contact me, my mailing address is Post Office Box 291, Osage, Iowa 50461. If you would like to donate to my ministry, visit my website, thirdeaglemedia.com. And I hope to see you all again on my next program.